Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts or story in the comments, and subscribe to our latest stories. Before I start, tell me where you are watching me from. I wonder which cities and towns will join me in this memory that will follow me for years. I never imagined that a simple taxi ride after work would become one of those moments I'd still be turning over in my mind long after it ended. You know those evenings when the sky looks tired, like it's been holding itself up all day and just wants to let the colors melt into dusk? It was exactly that kind of evening. I had stayed late at the office, sorting through paperwork I'd been putting off for weeks, and by the time I walked outside, the air had cooled enough to feel almost like a quiet relief. When the taxi pulled up, I didn't think much of it. Just another ride home at the end of another long day. The driver leaned slightly toward the passenger window and gave me a small, gentle smile. He looked to be maybe in his mid-50s, with kind eyes that seemed to study things before responding. His hair was slightly graying at the temples, the way some men's hair softens into silver rather than fading. I slid into the back seat, grateful to rest. We started with simple conversation, traffic, the weather, the kind of mild talk that fills the time between intersections. But there was something easy about talking to him, something that made me let my guard down in a way I rarely do with strangers. Maybe it was the calm sound of his voice, or the way he didn't rush me when I answered his questions. Instead, he listened as though every word told him something valuable. He glanced at me through the rearview mirror when I sighed. It wasn't an exaggerated sigh, just one of those small ones you let out when your thoughts feel heavier than usual. He didn't pry, but he asked gently, "Long day?" I nodded, staring at the lights passing outside the window. "Long week," I said. "Feels like the whole year has been one long week." He chuckled softly, not mocking, just understanding. "Those kinds of years," he said. "I know them well." There was comfort in that, in knowing I wasn't the only one who felt stretched thin. Before I realized it, I found myself telling him things I hadn't said out loud in a while, how I'd been feeling disconnected, how life seemed to be moving faster than I could keep up, how sometimes even the things I loved didn't feel like they belonged to me anymore. I didn't plan to share any of that, yet it came out naturally, carried by the quiet hum of the engine and the dim glow inside the car. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer rushed advice the way people often do. He just let me speak. And when I finished, he said something simple, something that stayed with me. Sometimes you just need a moment that doesn't feel like the rest of your days. Maybe that's why what happened next didn't feel strange at all. We stopped at a red light near the small cinema on the corner of Pine and Harbor. It wasn't one of those big chain theaters with flashing screens and booming noise. It was an old one, brick walls, hanging lights, and a marquee that still used actual letters instead of LED panels. I've passed that cinema 100 times, always meaning to go someday. But like many somedays, it kept slipping away. He looked at the glowing sign, then back at me in the mirror. "You like movies?" he asked casually. "I used to," I said. "It's been a while." And it had been. Too long. He hesitated, as if considering something carefully. Then, with a quiet sincerity that surprised me, he said, "I'm actually heading there after my shift. They're showing an old classic tonight. If you'd like to join." No pressure, of course. You just sounded like you could use a pause from everything. There was no suggestion behind his words, no uncomfortable undertone. Just genuine warmth, like someone offering a hand when you didn't realize you'd been standing on shaky ground. My first instinct was to decline. It's what I usually do, stay in my routine, keep to myself, avoid anything unexpected. But something softened in me. Maybe it was the honesty of the offer, or the quiet evening air, or just the realization that I hadn't done anything spontaneous for myself in a long time, and so I surprised myself. "Actually," I said, watching the marquee glow in the dim light. "Maybe I would." His face lit up in a modest, almost grateful smile. Not triumphant, not assuming anything, just pleased that I'd allowed a small shift in my evening. He parked the car near the curb, and when I stepped out, the night air felt cooler on my skin, as though the world itself was giving me permission to breathe differently. We walked toward the entrance side by side, not too close, not too distant, simply moving in quiet understanding. The theater lights reflected softly on the pavement, and for the first time in a while, I felt present, fully, calmly present. Inside, the familiar scent of popcorn wrapped around us, and the dim golden lighting gave everything a warm, nostalgic glow. People spoke in gentle murmurs as they found their seats. It felt almost like stepping into another time, somewhere slower, quieter. As we sat down, he whispered, "Thank you for saying yes." And I realized that I was grateful too, not just for the invitation, but for the unexpected reminder that even in the midst of ordinary days, something meaningful can still find you. I didn't know where the night would lead or what it might mean in the long run. All I knew was that I had allowed myself to feel again, to notice the small wonders I'd been ignoring. And in that moment, the world didn't feel quite as heavy. Something was beginning, something gentle, something human, something I didn't yet have words for. But I knew it mattered, and that was enough for now.